Hey everybody, I'm Johnny Prep, and today we are making one of my kids' favorites, coconut shrimp. Coconut shrimp has a little bit of that tropical taste to it, but yet it's got that down-home flavor, and kids love to eat it and they love to make it. So here's how we're going to do it. We've got to get our breading station set up. We've got our shrimp, then we've got a flour, which is a little light coating that helps everything stick. We've got a little light egg, and then we've got our breading mixture. So we want to season with a little bit of salt each one of these toppings. And we also want to make sure that our eggs are whipped good. You're going to want to whip these with a fork, or you can use a whisk or whatever you like, okay? But you want to make sure that when you lift it up, there's not like, it comes off your fork in kind of a smooth stream. You don't want like big globs. You want it to be whipped pretty darn good. Okay, we've got that set. We'll put just a little bit of salt in there too. Not too much, just a little bit. Just want to season it. Then we've got our coconut, okay? If you take your coconut, when you first buy it, it comes in longer strips. I actually take it and put it in a food processor and crunch it a few times so that it shortens it up. It makes it a lot easier to get it to stick to the shrimp, and you want that breading to stick to the shrimp because it's so tasty you don't want it falling off in the pan. So now I've got some fine breadcrumbs that I'm going to add to this coconut right here. Now you can use fine breadcrumbs, which is the kind you buy in the store. You can use panko breadcrumbs, which makes it a little crunchier, which I like a lot as well. But my favorite is actually to make homemade breadcrumbs, where you take like a loaf of like Pepperidge Farm bread or Italian bread or French bread, some good quality bread, not the wonder stuff. And you put it in a food processor and you grind that up. It makes incredible breadcrumbs, and it really does make a little bit of a difference. We're going to add just a little bit of cayenne pepper to this. If you're adverse to pepper, you don't have to add it, okay? We're going to mix that together. We're going to add a little bit of salt to that too. You just add little bits of salt in layers. You don't have to add a lot at the end, which is good. We've got that all mixed up. Now we're going to start breading. Now the key to breading is it's a two-hand process, and you got to switch one hand for the wet stuff, one hand for the dry stuff. One hand wet, one hand dry. If you don't, you get club hand, which means you bread your hand, which you don't want to do, okay? We've got some shrimp here. These are like 25 count to a pound, 21 to 25 count, which is a nice size for breading because the breading will actually get brown, but the shrimp will still get cooked inside. We're going to throw a bunch. Now you can do shrimp, I think, in batches pretty nicely, and it kind of speeds it up. So I take a handful of them, I toss them around in the flour like that. And then what I want to do is shake them off and throw a few in here into the flour. Dump those in there. Now I've got my wet hand. I'm going to toss the eggs with my left hand, and I'm going to just drop them in here. I'm going to go back to my dry hand, and then I just drop them in there, put some stuff on it, and press it on there. That's all I want to do. I want to press it on there. And you can get this going pretty darn quick. Some people take a lot of time. You just press it on there. See how it's sticking nice? You're getting good chunks of coconut in there. Get a couple done. Alright, so now we've got some shrimp here all breaded up and in the frying pan. I've got about a 1/4 inch of vegetable oil, canola oil, or any oil that's got a high smoking point. And I've got it to start on the pan on medium high. As the oil gets hotter, sometimes you're going to turn it down or they're going to cook a little bit too fast. As you can see, we're getting a nice, beautiful golden brown on these. Oh, this is just such a great dish. You know, that coconut gives it that kind of Caribbean, a little sweet flavor. You got just a hint of the cayenne in there, and then you have that beautiful comfort, breading, fried shrimp taste to it. It's just all good. You don't want to overload the pan. See how some are getting a little darker than the other side? That means you got either off center or you got a hot spot in your pan. Whenever you're frying, you got one side of the pan hotter than the other. Go ahead and move stuff around so that you can kind of evenly put the heat on the shrimp where you want it. All right, we got those cooking up nicely here. While that's happening, I want to now come over here and we're going to make our sauce. Super simple, super tasty sauce, okay? We've got some apricots we're going to throw in a food processor. This is actually apricot preserves that you can buy in a store or in a jar. I got 4 plums in here I'm going to throw in there. I'm going to take some pineapple, but let me crunch this up first because I don't want my pineapple too pureed. I like a little bit of crunchiness in that. We're just going to chop that up a little bit to get those big prunes kind of pureed in there with the apricot. And we're going to open it up. I'm going to take some pineapple, a canned pineapple. This is like those little tidbits, the inexpensive kind. Throw it in there. We're going to throw some horseradish in there, which is going to give it some tang. So you got the sweetness from the jams and the fruit, then you add a little tang with the horseradish. You can add that to taste if you like it a little bit spicy with horseradish. That's great. If not so much, you can kind of cut it back. That's all up to you. Always taste when you cook. That way you always get it where you want it. We're going to put it on here. Now we're not going to really puree that too much. We're just going to mix it a little bit. That's it, and that sauce is done. Let's check out our shrimp. Our shrimp are looking perfect. Now what we want to do with that is we want to take some paper toweling, and we're going to put that down so we can put our shrimp on something to absorb any excess oil that comes out. We'll just take that off. Now as soon as that comes out of the fryer, you're going to give it its last little bit of seasoning. We're going to salt them up just a little bit. And that's it, guys. Kids love this stuff. Get them in the kitchen. Get them breading. Get their hands going. Get the sauce going. I'm Johnny Prep. Go out and cook with your kids and have a great family fun month. Take care.